Good morning, good morning, good morning, and welcome back to the Operation Hill 100 Hearts channel where we do what? Focus on healing, humor, and hot motherfucking topics. Ladies and gentlemen, please do me a favor, hit the thumbs up. Hit the thumbs up on this video. Hit the thumbs up on this video because I know why your nosy ass is here because you want to get a cracker with this new Dear Deja. So let's listen, right? Here we go. Dear Deja, my mom died during the pandemic and now it's just my twin sister and I. We never knew our father, so once my mother passed, it's just been us. Before my mother passed, my sister started dating a guy that from day one my mother could not stand. Because of that, my sister kept him away from the family, but their relationship still kept going strong. After my mother's death, it got even stronger, and then my niece came along. My sister and I joke that she's the reincarnation of my mom and was sent here to fill that void of my mom not being here anymore. Anyway, my sister and my niece's dad are always going through something, and for the most part, I stay out of it because that's their relationship. He's my niece's father, and I know my sister is not, and neither is he, ready to leave the relationship. One night I was in the neighborhood at an event, had too many drinks, and told my sister I was going to stay the night by her because I didn't want to take the hour Uber drive to my house when hers was 12 minutes away from my event. I came in her house, fell asleep, drunk in the guest room, and woke up in the middle of the night to them arguing. I could tell he must have just come home and was drunk. From what I could make out, my sister was upset. Sounds like she was questioning him. He didn't like it, etc., etc. And after about the fourth question, he eventually got upset. Deja, let me be honest and say I didn't hear an inkling of physical violence because had I, you would have been healing my heart through JPEG. But my niece's father definitely verbally abuses my sister. He talked about the way her body looks since she had the baby, her skin, her hair, her teeth. He even said she had a body odor. I mean, verbal annihilation. But then this man even went as far as to talk about my dead mother, and then he told my sister how he fantasized about wanting to fuck me. I was horrified. Once the arguing died down, I snuck out. My sister called me the next day and I acted as though I didn't hear any of it. I haven't seen my sister, niece, or her man since, but my niece's birthday is coming, so I can't avoid them any longer. Deja, do you think I should talk to my sister about what I heard or continue allowing them to handle their in house situation as they see fit? This situation has been bothering me ever since. It's actually been stressing me out. Please help. Sign. It's either be quiet and do nothing or speak up and say something. Oh, Lord have mercy. That's the only thing I don't like. You guys can hear my background so well, right? Wow, 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 wow. Let me first say, I'm so sorry to hear about your mom. I'm so sorry to hear about your mom. Let me also say congratulations on the birth of your niece. Congratulations on the birth of your niece because babies are blessings. And as you said in your letter, I'm pretty sure your mom is looking down so proud of you and your sister and you guys sticking together and, her having a baby and so on and so forth. So congratulations for that part, right? Um, it's so crazy because I actually just recorded a Dear Deja prior to this where I discussed sibling protection. Sibling protection, which for me is a huge deal. And in another Dear Deja, I was talking to another sibling about protecting, ironically, their sister. Right. And here we are again with the same type of subject. Let me first say that I love the fact that you are like, I'm ready to jump in head first for mine, right? I think that's a beautiful thing. I think we all should have people that when anything happens, they're ready to go toe to toe, get in the mud with us and be ready to win, lose, or draw as long as they're by our side. So I love that you and her are that close, right? And that you want to do that. I also love that you are mindful, right? Because it sounds like you also definitely want to protect your sister, but you're being mindful of who you're protecting her against, which is, like you said, the person that she wants to be in a relationship with, and also the dad of your niece. He's the dad of your niece, right? So it's like, I really want to gut this one like a fish, but I do factor in that he has to be around, if nothing else, for my niece and because my sister wants him around. So I understand that perspective, right? Um, One of the things that stood out for me with your letter is that you said it's just you and her now. You didn't listen to the other siblings. You didn't say anything about a dad. you to list, oh, it's just I was our mom's side of it. None of that. You just said now it's just me and her. Right. And I think you become even more protective realizing that, like, we don't have anybody. So if anything happens, I'm responsible for her. She's responsible for me. And we're both responsible for my niece. So I get that. I get that mindset. And I think it's actually the right one to have because that's your sister. If nothing else, that is your sister. So you're supposed to want to, you know, are they going to stay out here with this music the whole time? You're supposed to want to protect her. So I get that and I understand and respect that. If you guys are twins, I can almost imagine, and you will let me know in your healing heart session when you come, right? I can almost imagine like there's a form of telepathy there, like you can feel, when she's hurting or she's afraid or she's happy or she's going through something. So I think it might also be vice versa, right? She may be able to sense when you're upset about something, you're not happy, you're avoiding her, so she may already have an idea about what's going on because number one, you got to very, very early or in the middle of the night and fled the freaking scene. So she's like, what's up with that? And also, the other part of it is, you're acting weird with her, which is, I'm pretty sure you guys normally speak on a regular basis and spend time with each other. And like you said, you kind of been avoiding her since the actual situation took place. She probably can sense that. And she's probably aware that that came from the night you stayed in her house, which is the night that him and her got into the altercation, right? Um, what I would suggest here is what I suggest in almost any situation: communication. Communication. I do think that you need to communicate with your sister. And I think you need to communicate with compassion because this is a very delicate situation. This is not only her spouse, but it's also the father of her daughter. So even if, let's just say, you was on some, you need to leave him, he's not treating you right as a girlfriend, I still have to deal with him in some capacity because we share a daughter. So in communicating with your sister, you have to have compassion for what she's growing through because it sounds like your niece might still fairly be young. So you never know. Your sister may be experiencing postpartum. She may be growing through a number of things at this time. And you guys are also still grieving the death of your mom. So it's grief on top of becoming a new mom without your mom, on top of growing through things in your relationship. That's a lot for one person. So she may just be willing to endure a lot of these things because she just feels like holding on to him because this is who she has aside from you. Right. So I think when you communicate with your sister, you definitely have to have compassion. But before anything, you have to listen to her. You have to listen to her. So I think opening a conversation prior to the birthday party, you and your sister going out, you're having to sit down and you saying, listen, I need to talk to you, right? And really and truly, sister, you just going here to listen because she may more so need to talk to you, right? So when she does come and you guys sit down and talk, the first thing you'll open up with is everything okay? And if she's anything like me and my siblings, the moment you ask that, she's gonna fall apart all over you. Boo-hoo crying, and you're going to be able to get everything you need from her in those moments. But everybody is not like my siblings. So that's the first question. Are you okay? If she's the type of person to say, yeah, I'm fine, I'm great. Wow, what's up? That opens the door for you to say, I overheard what happened tonight. I stayed at your house. Right. And even if she does fall out all over you, then you can still be able to open the door to say that. Right. And she might, you got to think about a few different ways she could approach this. If you guys are close and she's, she'll be like, yes, and she'll basically go into detail and share like, oh my God, I can't believe you had to hear that. That was so messed up, yada, 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 right? So then there's that part of it, right? Then there's the other part of it where she might want to downplay it. So you have to kind of let her know that I heard everything because she may be on some, well, what did you hear? Because I might only want to work from the space of knowing what you know as opposed to telling you everything. Either way, if you have to share with her what you overheard, or she just is forthcoming with what she knows you already know, right? It still creates a space and an opportunity for you guys to have some deep conversation about her as a woman, because that's what this really boils down to. you know it's one thing to be like, okay, you don't need to be letting anybody treat you that way, and but there's also a reason why this is taking place, and we need to get down to the bottom line of what that reasoning is. Most times when you allow things to happen to you that you're not happy about or you're not comfortable with, is because there's a fear there. There's a fear there surrounding, if I don't allow these things to happen, then what will happen? Right. And that normally happens when you lose your confidence and you lose faith in yourself, and you lose the ability to keep hope alive and keep believing that you are somebody and you are valued and you don't have to get treated this way. So if something is taking place that you don't like, more than likely contingent upon a relationship you have with the person that's doing it, you try to be a little patient, like, listen, I'm going to give you some time. Maybe you're not used to not doing this, so on and so forth. But eventually, when you know your self worth and you know that you have value in self, you're like, I'm not sticking around for this. I'm not sticking around for this. And that goes for anybody, right? Because a lot of times we as people, we get in our mind that, oh, you're a sibling, you're a cousin, you're an uncle, you're a daddy, you're a man, you're my woman. So I got to give you more grace to continue to mistreat me and disrespect me. And that only goes hand in hand with what you think of yourself. Because when you think highly of yourself and you know there's value in self, you know that if you're not treating me right, there is somebody around that will. And once again, that goes for anybody. If you're not treating me right as a sister, there is another woman who can treat me sisterly, even though she's not my blood. So you can be replaced because I'm worthy of that good treatment. And I think what probably could have happened was your sister is so traumatized about your mom's death, and also feeling so connected and close to him because of the relationship and because they have a child together, that she kind of forgot about herself and how valuable she is. So it's like, I'm just going to grow through this with him, and I'm just going to struggle through this with him because I love him. And where am I going to go? Because this is my daughter's dad and we've been together all this time. And yeah. Babies get stepdaddies every day, B. And am I saying your sister should be leaving him to rush into a new relationship? No. But if she cannot get treated the way she deserves to be treated, then she does need to separate from him, whether they have a daughter together or not. And I think when having a conversation with your sister and communicating with her and doing so with compassion, your only job, your only job in those moments is to remind her how valuable she is as a woman and as a person and as a mom. Because trying to tell a person they need to leave a person is literally the wrong thing to do. Because if they wanted to, there would be no you having to tell them. They would just do that, right? So don't worry about having to tell her she needs to leave him. Worry about having to encourage her and remind her of how valuable she is as a person. Because once she remembers that, you won't have to tell her anything. She will maneuver her life as such. And it's so funny. I always think about all of these things that were cliche when I was younger, right? The things your mother told you. You're looking like, girl, shut the fuck up. That's not really happening. No, but it really is. It really, really is. Like, when you know your self worth and when you know you're valuable, you walk around treating yourself as such, and you only entertain folks who do the same. And depending on how high up you have built your moral compass and your standards, you have zero patience for anybody who doesn't treat you as such. But when you're growing through something and you've gotten down on yourself and you've taken a few losses and you're feeling like you're at your lowest point, then you start to let folks creep in who treat you like you're at your lowest point. So right now, your job as a sister is not about meddling her relationship, because I know that's something that you were concerned with. It's not about doing that. It's about helping your sister to remember how valuable she is in this world and how much she is needed and how good of a person she is and how she deserves to be treated like she's that good person. And it starts with self. It starts with self. So before she can get somebody else to recognize how valuable she is, she has to recognize that herself. You know, yes, you ladies did lose your mom, but you didn't lose each other. And yes, she's been through some things in this relationship, but that's not the end of her story. She's a mom and she's a woman and she's a sister and she can go up from here. But she just has to believe that about herself. And it's your job as her sister to remind her. Because I'm pretty sure that that's what your mom's job was. I'm pretty sure that that's what your mom did when she was here. And sometimes when you lose your person, you kind of lose your way. You know, the only thing that she forgot is that there is another person, and that's her sister. So that's what you are here for. And what it sounds like probably happened between the two of you is you probably just kind of fell back, because she has a new lifestyle. That happens in relationships, right? Maybe your sibling or your friend or your parents, they now have something new in their life. She's now a mom, right? So you probably like, okay, well, now you're a mom and you're in a relationship, so a serious relationship. So let me just kind of scale back and let you do you. And it's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. But right now, in these moments, you see by doing so, you are reminded that she still needs you. So now is your time because you've seen it in the flesh to step up. Sis, I'm here. I got you. So let me remind you, you are loved. You are valuable. You are important. You are a beautiful person. And you have to believe that about yourself as well. So now is your time to step on in. Step on in. So now when you and your sister sit down, right? And the conversation is had about, I overheard it. And the question is, pretty much how long has this been going on? And are you okay with that? Right. And there's a few responses you could get. You can either get absolutely not. Absolutely fucking not. I'm not okay with it and I'm tired of it. And then you start to have the conversation about what she wants to do and able to minimize this behavior. Right? Do you and him want to go to counseling? Do you want to break up with him? Like, what do you need to do to assure that you're not allowing him to treat you that way? Right. And I know for some people in their relationships, it's like, no, 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 he's not a bad person. He's just maybe in a bad space. So I'm going to work it through. Okay, that's fine. Work it through with him. Work it through with him. But make sure in the process, while he's doing his work, you're doing yours as well. You are doing yours as well. And you have to remind her of that because then it just becomes about, oh, well, he needs counseling and he needs therapy and he's going through a rough time and he's crazy and everything is about him. No, baby, I'm not. I'm your sister. I'm here for you. So regardless of what he is, what is your plan? Right. And I'll give an example, right? Years ago, I told this story on one of my lives, right? But it's one of my most valuable stories because it always lands the plane and a point that I'm trying to make, right? In relationships, I have a few deal breakers, right? The number one at the top of the list, top tier, God no higher, zero zing zing, is physical violence, right? I know that I have a mouth on me, right? I'm very much aware. I try to utilize this mouth for good, which is why I did so much healing work because I know when I'm not in a healing space, this mouth can be absolutely acid to a motherfucking skin if I get up on them, right? And I'm not oblivious to the fact that even though they're just words, most times, if not all the times, words hurt more than actual physical violence. So some of the things that I could say out this mouth could probably get my head slapped off. Right. And I'm very much aware of that. I've always been aware of that. Right. But when I was younger, it was I wasn't in the space to know that I needed healing. So when I'm upset, oh, you get in this motherfucking mouth. And if you're the person that may be upset, you're getting it over and over. Right. And one time, my whole thing is, but no matter what, do not touch me. Now, granted, as a grown ass woman right now, I know that that makes absolutely no sense to say because Khadija, you may say something to trigger a person enough that they want to put their hands on you, right? I absolutely know that as an adult. But for me, when I was younger, in my mind, I could say what I want, just don't touch me. And I was in a relationship with a person who did not feel the same. So when I proceeded to say what I wanted, he proceeded to put his hands on me. Right. And that very day that he did it is the very last time that we have had any intimate interaction, meaning I have been in the same room as him, but I've never, after that, but we've never hugged, we've never embraced, we never kissed. No, 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 no. There's no reason for him to think that there's any romantic interest in him because that was a deal breaker for me. And a lot of times I remember having conversations and people would say things to me like, oh, well, just because your sister Soldier and you and ITY Queen Latifah, you could just disconnect that way and so on and so forth. And I'm like, well, that is not what it is. What it is that the moment that it happened, it made me feel so violated and it made me have so much uh it made me think so low of myself that it was like, Khadija, how did you get here? How did you get here? How did you get here? And in those moments, I knew that you're not happy with yourself. You don't feel valued. And not even just by this other person, but you don't feel value within yourself because here you are allowing someone to do this to you when you said you would never. So from that day, when I left that room after this person put their hands on me, never, never. And that we're going on, that was 2007. That was 2007. So we are more closer to 2000 to 20 years, you know what I'm saying, than not. We about 17 years. And mm-mm. And the person feels like I'm angry with them still. No, I forgave them a long, long, long time ago. I can be cordial. I can be cordial with that person. But to say that I am going to allow myself to be put in a position where you make me feel like I'm lower than who I know I am, it's never happening. It's never happening again, ever. And I'll take it a step further. It's never happening with anybody because then I know when I let somebody do that to me that that's not about them. That's about me. That's about me. And right now I'm not happy with me. So I'm just letting everybody else in to treat me bad as well because I already feel bad about myself. Absolutely not. Absolutely fucking not. So, sis, your main goal here is because I know in your letter you was basically saying like, I just wonder, Deja, do I get in their business? Don't even worry about their business. Worry about uplifting your sister. Worry about helping her to get back to who she used to be, which is a confident and valuable woman. Once you help your sister get there and you uplift her and you remind her and she really gets in that healing space of recognizing who she is and what she brings to the table, you're not going to have to tell her to leave her man. If his ass don't level up, she going to leave him herself. And it's crazy because I was watching, shout out Jamie, that's me. I was watching one of her videos earlier and she said something that I tell Pookie all the time. I said the one thing, and I can only speak for women because I don't always have conversations about men or how they deal with relationships, but I know this about women. I'm telling you, when a woman ain't ready to leave, a motherfucker, they will complain, complain, complain. You ever had that homegirl that you like, girl, we're going to talk about Marvin again today. You know she gonna start that car. You ever had a homegirl that you like, we always talk about this motherfucker when me and you was hanging out. You know why? Because I'm only talking about you, talking about him to you, because I'm not ready to separate from the situation. Because I guarantee you, the day that I'm ready to separate, you ain't gonna hear shit from me. You ain't gonna hear shit from me. Oh, DJ, what happened with you and Marvin? Who? Your man, Marvin, the one we always talk about. I don't talk about Marvin no more. Yeah, so what happened? He's done for. You and Marvin are broken up. But you didn't say nothing. I didn't need to. There's no more discussion to be had. And that's what Jamie, that's me, was saying earlier about Young Jock and Kendra. She was saying, you know, all the arguing. I know you guys probably don't watch Love and Hip Hop. I'm just saying, using that as an example, because I was talking about Jamie, that's me. All of the arguing doing, that Kendra is doing is because she's not ready to leave Jock. Because the moment that you are, there will be no whole bunch of conversation. There will be no home calling your home good event. There will be no tears. There will be no nothing. But I don't fuck with that nigga no more. So once you get your sister to a point where she recognizes her self-worth and her value, which is absolutely your job as her sister, then don't worry about her relationship. She got it from there. All you got to do is sit back and watch her be the best woman that your mother created the both of y'all to be. All right, my dear. So that was it. That's it. If you need any more help from me regarding this situation, come get your healing heart session. If you think your sister needs a healing heart session, then provide one for her. Because I know how it is when, as a woman, you grow through something, and all of your triggers and your trauma come up, and then you start to kind of dwindle down and minimize yourself, and you start to feel low, and then you just start letting motherfuckers who treat you low creep in. I've been there, but I tell you one motherfucking thing: as long as I'm on a healing journey, I ain't never going back. And as long as I can encourage anybody, man, woman, cat, dog, to come up out that space and live their best life and in their highest and truest self, I always want to do so. That's why I do the healing work. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in. Thank you so much. Please hit the thumbs up on this video. I truly appreciate you. Continue tuning in and enjoy your day.